Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Box Seats. Obviously, we're having a little bit of technical difficulties here today, but that's okay. We're gonna be jumping into it. That's how we do it. Anyway, the name of the show is called Box Seats. I'm your host, Frank Holder. This is the show we talk about sports with comedians. First up is my man Howie Bell. Howie, how you doing, sir?
All is well. What's happening, Frank? You all right, good brother?
Yeah, I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. And let me
Good,
bring in
good.
my man Jason Hayes, filmmaker. Jay, how you doing, sir? How's everything, bro?
All's good, man.
What up, my dog?
What's up, Howard? Yo, real quick. I'm a Spelman dad, man. My daughter graduates this weekend. Holla at your boy.
Congrats.
Congratulations.
HBCU in the
Yes,
house.
sir.
Love it.
I absolutely love it, bro. It's always great
That's
when
all
the
right.
HBCU gets somebody else to graduate, bro. I don't care what nobody says. It's always
That's right.
Right.
All right, so before we dive into the show, man, I want to talk about the NBA playoffs because we had some interesting things happen over this weekend, man. Very interesting things. And first up, I'm going to get you guys your thoughts on what you think of certain situations, and then you tell me, we're going to have a conversation, basically a long conversation about the NBA playoff discussion. The biggest surprise to me, Howie, has got to be Indiana Pacers overtaking the Cleveland Cavaliers and up 3-1. And then on the last game they just played, like literally blew them out. They were up by 41 at the half.
Yeah.
I don't care what nobody says, man. I thought it was going to be a much closer series than that. I did think Cleveland was going to lose. I told everybody that. I thought Indiana was going to beat them. But how surprised are you, man, obviously with Cleveland Cavaliers doing this work, man?
You know what, man? I was just getting ready to say, you said it though. You called it. People were sleeping on Indiana. I'll say this: that last game, when they got into that streak and they kept hitting them threes, I was amazed. I was sitting there watching the game, like, man, they cannot miss.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just at some point they just broke the back of the Cavs, man. I don't see Cleveland recovering at all. If they can sneak around and squeeze into a game 6, they'd be lucky. But I don't know, man. That team is powerful. And what's so interesting about it, on the other end, you got OKC looking just like Indiana. They look almost exactly alike. You know what I'm saying? The way they're playing, their offense, their defense, the way they can blow you out. Man, I'm looking forward to what's coming.
Yeah. So let me ask you, Jay, are you surprised at what you're seeing? And being that now Donovan Mitchell got hurt, what's your thoughts on this? Like, is it over?
Yeah, I mean, one, I'm very surprised at what's happening because I sat in the Barclays Center a few months ago and watched the Pacers get spanked by the Brooklyn Nets.
Mhm.
So I had no faith in them dudes, and I still don't believe in Halliburton like that. But I will say this: they have been the tougher minded team. The team more willing to be physical, but the telltale for me was it game 3? When all the Cavs players set out. No, game 2 when they set out because they got nicked. It's the playoffs, bro. You got to be out there. You know what I'm saying? Because if you set out game 2 and you played in game 3, then I feel like you should have probably played in game 2. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's all for nothing. They were up big. They blew the game, and I think that's when they lost the series.
I was going to ask you, Jay, do you think that's when they lost the series? I literally thought the same
I think that's when they lost the series.
I think the same thing. I think they lost the series right then and there. I'm gonna jump back into the playoffs real fast.
I'm sorry. I was going to add one last key thing about Halliburton. I think that we're actually watching his maturation right now. Honestly, I think that he is coming in. He's showing everybody that he's a little bit better than what we thought he was.
We're gonna come back to this. How we're gonna come back to this? I wanted to think because this thought just crossed my mind, and I wanted to make sure I mentioned it before we continue on with this playoff conversation. The news broke today, Howie and Jay, that Michael Jordan is joining the NBC staff, everything else like that. Now, Howie, talk to me, man, about your thoughts on Michael Jordan being a special contributor. Because first of all, before I jump to conclusions, I gotta say, I don't know how this makes sense because Michael Jordan does not get along with Charles Barkley. The inside the NBA crew is supposed to be joining NBC later on this year. I don't know if that deal fell through. I haven't even paid attention to it that much. But how does that work? And how are you feeling about Michael Jordan being a special contributor? And what do you see him doing if he is?
That's what I was going to say. What does special contributor mean? Is that going to mean he's going to be an analyst? Is he going to be, is he going to be a talking head? What is he going to do, or is he going to just come from behind? I don't know. In what capacity they're going to use him at. If he's an analyst, I would say that would be very interesting. They got to pay him a lot of money because you talk about ratings through the roof. Because everybody's going to want to hear what Michael Jordan has to say about everything that's going on. And I promise you that if they can get that done, kudos to NBC. However they get that done, because. I mean, you talk about a transformation. I don't care what Barkley said. He'll be right there, or he'll be fired, because Jordan coming into that spot, man, will be amazing for that network.
Yeah, I gotta say this, Jay. I know it's supposed to be Reggie Miller, Jamal Crawford. The only thing that makes sense to me is if Michael Jordan is in studio. It don't make sense for me to see him doing the game to game. I don't see it. Just doesn't. You know how you try to play it out in your head? That don't make no sense to me. Like, why would Michael Jordan want to do the day, game to game? I could see it make perfect sense if they do like how they do with Charles Barkley, Shaq, and Kenny Smith. You know what I mean? Like, have them in the studio and they say, "Well, Mike, what's your thoughts on the first half? What's your thoughts over this game? What's your thought on this?" That makes more sense to me.
Well, that's what I'm thinking in that way.
Yeah,
I don't think he would do play by play or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Jay, what you think?
I mean, first, I got a question. Did he sell the Charlotte Hornets?
No, he did not.
So are we allowing NBA owners to sit in and
another great question? What
I'm saying?
Because that's not supposed to be allowed. It's not supposed
to be allowed. That's first off. Now, the other point, like Frank, we touched on this earlier today. I commented on your post. Michael Jordan is like one of the most boringest, most I don't give a damn what he's talking about people I've ever seen, bro. I mean, he is not an engaging person. He is not like Charles Barkley. He's not that kind of personality, that makes you want to watch him like that. So if they're doing this, they're trying to cash in on how Jordan helped NBA on NBC be the biggest thing on the planet in the 90s.
CJ, right? I have to interrupt you, man, to say this. How do you know he will be born? Because he's never been in this environment.
He's never done that before.
No. I've seen this dude do a lot of interviews, bro. I watched The Last Dance. I watched all of that.
I've seen that too. We've all seen that. But that's different than sitting in a studio and somebody saying to you after a game or after a half. That's why I didn't comment on your post, because I wanted to wait and do this. It's different than, because if I'm sitting there, listen, if you're talking about how you played, again, and how you played in, in Chicago Bulls in the 90s, or you're talking about how you did that, that's completely different to me. No disrespect to you and your opinion, obviously.
Right.
It's different to me.
But Frank,
then you sitting there saying, hold on, Jay, hold on. It's different than me sitting there saying, Mike, so we just saw the Indiana Pacers play the Cleveland Cavaliers, right? What was your thoughts and what's your take on what you just saw? That's completely different to me.
Yeah.
Right? To me.
Listen, he's doing color, bro. This dude is boring. And like I said earlier, it'll play for the Jordanites. The Jordanites, no matter what he does, if his segment is just him walking out in flip-flops and wearing the grass, y'all gonna love it. You know what I'm saying? But for me, this dude is not an engaging person. I see all the, he doesn't think about anything in life. There is no nuance to this guy. He's not interesting to me at all.
I would say this though. I think some people, whether they're Jordanites or Jordan fans or not, are still going to tune in to see what he has to say because of the simple fact of who he is, and we've never seen him in that capacity. And I think that the whether the people that like him or dislike him or neutral or what have you, or just casual basketball fans, if you will, I think that people are going just purely because it's Michael Jordan that they will watch. And like you said, in the studio, like Kenny and Shaq and all those guys, man, if he could do that and sit like that, I think that it'll be great.
Here's a caveat.
I think it'd be good for basketball.
It would be.
Is Brady great?
Hold on. Here's a caveat.
I think Tom Brady is better. I think Tom Brady is better than what he started.
Hold on. Listen to this. Tell me if you all agree or disagree with this. If Michael Jordan was to do this, right, and he was to come out and say, you know what? He played a horrible thing of basketball, and I didn't like the way he played. Just list down the breakdown of of any player with everything else. What do normally players they sit at home and they go back and forth with Shaq, Kenny, or whoever. You know what I mean? Depending on how they came out, everything else. Who's going to come back and say something against Michael Jordan? What can you say if Jordan says your game was trash the first half? You know what I'm saying, Howie?
Well, I can say this: they will, and I think that's the beauty of this.
Right.
He puts it when he puts himself out there. He's going to be challenged too. People are going to banter back and forth with him as well. He's not going to be, elusive of social media and criticism and comments and none of that. So I think that's what makes this a little more enhanced and a little better and a little more interesting, because now people can directly start talking to him. You know what I'm saying? And start commenting on the show itself, him or what have you. So. I think that adds another layer.
I think it does, but I don't think it does in that sense, Jay, like what Howie said. I think it does because if people will be like, everybody, whether you're a Jordan fan or not, everybody will be like, well, who are you compared to Michael Jordan? You know what I mean? Like, you can't say that he can't say that to you. You know what I mean? That's
only Jordan ain't gonna feel like that, though. Listen, Michael Jordan, because he's Michael Jordan, he is not above an STFU. You know what I'm saying? He ain't above it.
No, I agree.
He had bad games. He missed shots.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? He did a lot of stuff.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So he is not above it.
I think putting himself out there.
Hold on, Howie. Hold on. Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Hold on, Howie. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Howie.
No. I was just merely kind of repeating myself, but I was saying, but him putting himself out there is the most interesting part. For him to be able to be criticized, or somebody to say FOH, or you know what I'm saying, right. STFU. You know what I'm saying? So. Right. I think it's good.
I just don't. That's what's crazy to me. I just don't see how any player of today does that, because a lot of these dudes look at him like he is the greatest all time. Like, I think he's the greatest.
Jordan Knights look at him like that. Ball players see his weaknesses too.
They do, but
like, look, man, you really couldn't go left like that. Shut up.
But hold on. But a lot of players, when he walked in the 50, the top greatest 50, you know what I mean? A lot of them were in awe of him. They parted the sea of him from LeBron on down. Dwayne Wade, Reggie, they all were like, okay, that's Mike. You know, they all revere him to this day. So if
Isaiah Thomas revere him?
Isaiah Thomas is different because he hates him for the way he.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but
Detroit don't care about Michael Jordan, bro.
He still respects him, though. He still respects him as a player. He still respects him as a player, right?
Maybe
they respect him. I think that Detroiters probably are the hub of people that can honestly say with impunity that they don't like Jordan from the beginning. Like, you got people that love Jordan from the very beginning and all this and that. Like, Detroiters literally did not like Michael Jordan for a very long time. But we grew to respect him. It's almost like LeBron too. Like, I was never a LeBron fan, but as time went on, I had to give him his respect because of the accomplishments and the things that he's done. So I think that's all it is. I think that whether you're a fan or not, the respect is there, and people, you know what I'm saying, are going to be able to say, hey, all right, well, what does he have to say? And if I can challenge him, I can, because social media is here now.
Well, I'll go on the record right now and say I think this is a horrible idea for Michael Jordan as a person to do this. I think it's a great idea for NBC and horrible idea for him, because I don't even think he understands the door he's opening up.
It does open a big door.
He did not play in social media, bro. You know, he had nothing to do with social media age.
Yeah, I don't think he understands that. But I will. My last thing, and then we're gonna move on to the rest of NBA playoffs discussion and jump into this. I will say this: the level of boredom this dude must be in right now to say, you know what, I will do that. That takes you to a whole new high, and because he got brand new babies, only got brand new twins in the crib. Like, dude, like
that's why he want to do it.
Yeah.
Or is he? Because he got a gambling. He likes to gamble now.
Yeah.
Is he like, you know what? Let me pick up another little stream of income real quick to handle this little gambling debt. I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
But Howie, it's only so many snow bunnies, and you can smash and cigars you can smoke, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So let's move on to one more thing about this the NBA playoffs. Howie, I'm gonna ask you this, man. OKC is not looking like themselves against Denver. I don't care what nobody says. I had them to go beat Denver. Now I'm not so sure. I think they can still beat them, but OKC is a surprise to me right now. And Golden State is disappointing in a way to me right now by the way that they're up with Minnesota. I ain't even gonna talk about the Knicks and the Celtics yet, but out of those two series, what's your thought process on OKC, and dealing with Denver and obviously the Memphis and Golden State series?
I start with OKC and Denver. I think that series in OKC is, listen, man, they playing lights out. You got to remember, this team is playing like they've always been playing, dog. They've been blowing people out Denver is just a better team and better competition. I think that series is going 7 games.
Mhm.
I honestly believe that series is going the distance out of all the series left. Because I think that Jokic and all those guys, they'll pull it together. They'll win. They're just going to go back and forth. I think it's going to go 7 games, however it goes, in winner take all. Golden State, if Steph Curry don't come back after when they play again, like tonight or something, or another
I think it's tomorrow. I think they play
tomorrow, if
Yeah.
he doesn't come back after that, they're done. I mean, because you know what I'm saying, it's nothing they can do. You know what I'm saying? Without him, they need him. They need his scoring. They need his leadership. They need all of that, and they're not going to be able to beat these boys, these Minnesota boys. Without, they're just not going to do it. You know what I'm saying? So, So it's going to be interesting to see how it moves on. I think Draymond Green is still being an idiot, and I think that he cost the team, as usual. And there's another thing about him, man. It's that we'll talk about him later. I got something, but anyway, just I don't know. I just think that if Curry doesn't come back, they're toast, and I think Cleveland is toast. And I think that the Denver Nuggets will take it 7 games. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what's left. Boston and New York is a little interesting. I think Boston kind of showed their butts. You know what I'm saying? And say, hey, look, we back. And I like that. They popped them pretty good, but that may still go 6 or 7 as well. We'll see what New York is going to do.
Well, it has to at least go 6, I think, right? So,
Yep.
yeah, Jay. So, what's your thoughts on this Golden State series in Minnesota, and then tell me what your thoughts on this Denver OKC series?
Well, I mean, to me, Golden State is going as expected because I told you guys, Golden State has the same problem the Lakers had. They're not going to get bigger, right? And the Lakers were younger. You know what I'm saying? Across the front line. Like in terms of like players. Like in terms of birthdays, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and then when Steph went down, that's
tough. That's tough, man.
That gave him no chance, to me. You know what I'm saying? Because Ant is a killer. You know what I'm saying? Ant-Man is a stone cold, heartless, merciless, Attila the Hun level killer, right? And then you got them other boys that they traded Cat for. Man, them boys are kid. Man, DiVincenzo, he don't care.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The other kid that left him, forget his name right now. Julius Randle, he don't care. They gonna ball, bro. And if you ain't balling every night, you gonna get what they've been giving Golden State. You know what I'm saying? The thing with Denver's gonna be tough. Now playing at altitude is tough. I hear dudes talking about it a lot. Like around the second half, you start fading. So OKC is not used to that altitude, but Murray and Jokic is a crazy tandem that people don't talk about enough. I mean, like they borderline illegal because Murray is a knockdown shooter. He can handle the rock. He can score mid-range. He can shoot the 3. He can get to the cup. Eat up space, knock down 3s. So OKC is going to have to hope that Denver's role players don't do their job. And role players always play well at home, so I'm not surprised by what happened. But can they do it again?
Howie, what do you think Giannis is going to play for? Because as I'm watching this series, I can see in my head that Giannis could literally land on OKC because they got a ton of draft picks. I mean, a ton, especially if they don't make it to the finals. What do you think Giannis would play?
Well, I would love him to go to the Detroit Pistons. That would be, I think.
I mean, that side. I mean, we know that. Off the top.
That's a gimme right there. Let's just say that. That would be. I don't know if we got the money or the means to make that happen, but I see him. He may, if LeBron says I want to do something, maybe he goes to the Lakers. You know what I'm saying? I think the Lakers will make a move like that, maybe. And then that'll be like, that'll give them 3, the triple threat that they probably need, you know what I'm saying, to take them over the hump. Other than that, I can see him maybe, going somewhere like Cleveland. You know what I'm saying? Maybe. You know what I'm saying? They go there and kind of help them get over the hump. So who knows? You know what I'm saying? Where he's going to wind up at. Wherever he goes, they're going to be a beast. They're going to be immediate contenders for a title.
You brought up a great point there, Howie. Giannis with my man over in LA. That would be a very interesting game.
Yeah.
Luka, that'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Because when
Luka.
LeBron retire, they won't miss a beat. You know what I mean?
That's kind of where I'm leading to. LeBron's getting a little older. They bring him in. At least they add all 3 for a minute, and then if he leaves, like you said, they won't really miss a beat.
Right. They won't miss, they get a lot better. But Jay, how realistic are we talking about Giannis going to those teams? Because I don't see realistically. I see OKC, I see Miami, I see Houston. Those people got great teams, but most importantly, what people ain't talking about is they got a lot of draft picks. A lot of draft picks. And they could come in there and skate and shake up the whole world and say, you know what? We'll give you 2 draft picks, 2 number ones. And who ain't gonna take 2 number ones for Giannis right now? Who ain't gonna do that?
Everybody will.
Yeah, everybody would. I know I would. So what's your thoughts on where you think Giannis is gonna play at, Jay?
I mean, given that Giannis has 3 years on his contract, right? So they don't have to move him. So that means that they don't have to do anything unless that deal is what they want.
Right.
And if you're giving up a franchise player that's won you a championship, you're going to want something back in exchange for that. So it's going to have to be a place like OKC. And I'm sure he wants to go to a place where they're contending. I mean, he ain't just trying to go someplace because they got the draft capital and they got space for him. Another place that makes sense to me where he could end up, don't be shocked, would be a place like San Antonio.
Right.
They got like a lot of young players, who know how to play that, that they can give up and they can be contributors immediately for Milwaukee. So definitely, Houston and OKC, but I would throw San Antonio in that mix and maybe Orlando.
San Antonio makes sense too because his style of play is something that they don't have that makes a lot of sense there. You know what I mean? San Antonio makes a lot of sense. But if you trade a number one, if you're Houston, you trade away Jalen Green and a number one for Giannis, then now you got a team that can win the championship. If you ask me, like they can win it with Ime, they can win the championship. All right, so let's get ready to jump into this, Howie. Let's get ready to get into what we did our homework over the weekend, and then we said, we thought about who should be the top 5 who we think should have a sneaker deal. You know what I mean? Like who I got my top 5, but Howie, I'm gonna let you go first because I found these guys. I don't even know if they have sneaker deals now, but I couldn't find that they did.
Right.
So you tell me your 5.
Mm-hmm. I don't really know how to pronounce his name. Is it Shohei Ohtani? Shohei Ohtani. He's dope. That's my man for the Dodgers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he cold, bro. He can have a sneaker, dog. Now imagine, see that the Asian appeal, that international, and all that going on, Major League Baseball superstar. Come on, man. If he had a shoe, you know what I'm saying? I think.
I mean, he does. He don't got a shoe. Like he should have.
I don't think so. I don't think so. If he does, I don't know about it. You know what I'm saying? But I think. Yeah. I don't think he does.
I mean, but Howie, even if he does, he should.
He should. Hey, look, even if they baseball cleats, they whatever they are, I think that he's one of the guys that should have a shoe. Jalen Hurts. You know what I'm saying? I think Jalen Hurts should have a shoe. You know what I'm saying? Some kind of sweet, sneaker. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, it ain't a basketball shoe. But it still could be either cleat or just some kind of nice sneaker. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you want to call it. You know what I'm saying? The world champs. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I just think Jalen Hurts got a good personality. You know what I'm saying? Good looking cat. You know what I'm saying? Good face. Quarterback, champion, all that kind of stuff, man. I think he should have a shoe. I think Caitlin Clark should have a shoe. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
She'll blow the whole female Foot Locker section apart, baby. You know what I'm saying? With the Caitlin Clarks. You know what I'm saying? I think those would be dope. And I think somebody like Nike should pick that up and make them some sweet, like almost female Jordan type joints. You know what I'm saying?
Like immediately.
Like immediately. Like I don't even know why that's not in the deal they're making right now. I mean, I'm sure it is. You know what I'm saying? But I think that, that Caitlin Clark will bust it wide open. You know what I'm saying? I would be scared to see how popular a Caitlin Clark gym shoe would be. That'd be deep. I'm gonna go and say, y'all know the tennis star Coco Gauff. Yeah. Really
she does.
Yeah, man. Nice tennis shoe. Remember the Stan Smiths? You know what I'm saying? They bring the Coco Gauffs. You know what I'm saying? That style. You know what I'm saying?
The Cocoa Puffs or something.
The Cocoa Puffs. There you go.
That would be dope.
Themselves, man.
Yeah, with the chocolate brown leather joint.
Yeah.
You know what
I'm cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
Yeah, they
Might get sued for that one though.
Oh, those would be sick. Some sweet, some some dope, you know what I'm saying? Air Max type Cocoa Puff, you know, some of them type looking shoes, you know what I'm saying? And then I had to think about it, man. I had to go back to football, and I hate to say it, man. I love this guy, man. I think his heightness and all that, he could probably get a shoe right now. And that's Josh Allen. Now, I think that Josh Allen, with his popularity and his spunkiness of himself, you know what I'm saying? I think he could really get at least the young suburban kids into it. You know what I'm saying? Maybe more.
Oh, MAGA love it.
Yeah, absolutely. MAGA will love it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, 100%.
Those are my top 5 cats I think should have a shoe.
Josh Allen's about to be in Hollywood status because his girlfriend now is about to be, Oscar,
see what I'm saying?
Yeah, all that. He getting ready to walk the red carpets and all that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, Jay, because Sinners is getting ready to kill it. That girl going to be all over the place. You know what I mean? He's her, they engaged, about to be married. He better get himself a sneaker. He better.
Right.
Jay, give me your 5.
For real.
Okay, number 5. So I'm thinking about people who should have sneaker deals, whether they do or whether they don't, right? So number 5 for me, literally every Kenyan and Ethiopian marathoner on earth. Right?
True.
There is nobody who gets more usage out of their shoes than Kenyan and Ethiopian marathon runners, right?
That's true.
Number 4, I'm gonna go Angel Reese. Like, she's the most popular WNBA player on the planet. I don't care what nobody say. She's in the social medias. If you're trying to sell sneakers, you want somebody who has that influence and that reach, you're gonna move units with her. Number 3, me. Damn it, I should have a goddamn sneaker deal. Man, listen, hey, that's the dream job. You wake up, make a bowl of cereal, and just walk to the mailbox to get millions of dollars. Me. That's number 3. Number 2, and he has his own shoe. I'm happy to see it. Spike Lee. He is a super fan, and he invented sneaker marketing via television.
He sure did.
Everybody remember Mars Blackman. It must be the shoes.
Sure did.
Right?
Yeah.
How we remember, man, we was kids. We all knew if we bought a pair of Air Jordans, straight out the box and put them on 40-inch vert. Going to the court, we dunking, right?
Yeah.
That was marketing. I mean, he changed the marketing game.
Sure.
But number 1 who absolutely should have their own shoe, Scrippers.
Who?
Scrippers.
Who?
Listen, the commercial writes itself. You know what I'm saying? She's leaving the club, she step off the stage and she's talking about how her feet hurt after wearing 12-inch, clear heels, and that Nike Air Max Zoom massages her feet in all the right places. You know what I'm saying? Bruh, get it to him.
And you know what you give him? The Cocoa Puffs.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying that
Give it a Cocoa Puffs.
Nobody's feet get beat up more than Scrippers, baby.
I'm trying to tell you, you give it the Cocoa Puffs. All right, so
they got other stuff that get beat up, but we'll talk about that.
That's a different show. That's definitely a different show. But I like your thought process. So for me, I did this as a list of cats who are up and coming and they tomorrow superstars. That's how I did it. You know what I mean? So for me, I did number 5 was Chet Holmgren, because Chet Holmgren is doing work for OKC. I was like, this boy is 100%. He's the reason why OKC is where they are. Number 4 for me is SGA, Cy Gillis Alexander. I've been watching that boy play for the last 2 years, and he's one of my favorite. He's my second favorite player in the league right now. And I'm gonna surprise you all who my first player is in a second. But he's my second favorite player in the league, and he should have a sneaker deal. Number 3, Jalen Green should have a sneaker deal. That boy is balling. He don't get no TV publicity, everything else, but he need to. And of course, these are all NBA players. I should have mixed it up more. I just didn't. I wasn't thinking that far along. Should have did that. Number 2 is my man out of Philly, Tyrese Maxey. That boy needs a sneaker deal because he ain't got Joel Embiid. He looking at Joel Embiid go to the box and get, and that boy ain't playing. That boy is limping. He ain't doing nothing what he should do. Tyrese Maxey has carried the Philadelphia 76ers for the last 3 seasons, not 2, 3 seasons. Give that boy a sneaker deal, give that boy a max extension, and put that boy #1 on prominent on everywhere and take Joel Embiid off right now. ASAP. Take him off everything. You take him, you know how they send out the invitations and all this stuff to get your season tickets, and they got the players' faces up there. Tyrese Maxey's face needs to be there, not Joel Embiid. #1, my favorite player in the league right now, bro. Man, every time this boy step on the court, I love him. I call him the quiet assassin. That's Paolo Banchero for the Orlando Magic. Okay. That boy, if he ain't got a sneaker deal, something wrong. That boy need to have a sneaker deal because that boy is so young and he got so much game and he got so much potential. He is so scary to watch. If this boy he's the future of the league, if you ask me. In 5 years, he should be up for MVP consideration all the time. And he should be one of the 2 or 3 faces of the league along with SGA. He should be. And he is, like I say, a quiet assassin because he ain't talking no trash on the court, but he will kill you. Like, he's deadly. I love his game all the way around. So now, we're at the point now, we're middle of the show. We like to mix it up a little bit. And this part was kind of difficult for me because I was sitting there thinking, like, I don't really know stuff like this. But and I thought about it. I was like, let me let Howie and them go first. So Howie, I'm going to let you go first and give me your top 5 most tear-jerker, heartbreaking films. Things that made you cry. Or it could be films that every time you watch, your eye gets misty and you act like you yawning or something to get that water built up in your eye. Whatever.
Yeah. I had to think about it, but it's been quite a few. I was doing my research. I started crying doing the research. I got to say.
Allergies, man.
Allergies.
And sneeze, yawn, whatever. Yeah.
So I had to go and I had to really say, damn, it's been some real sad movies, but really emotionally intense movies, not just sad. Mm-hmm. And I'd say I got to start with The Green Mile. I don't know if y'all remember The Green Mile.
Yeah.
That was emotional. And, my man was sick. He kept coughing and just Tom Hanks, that whole, and, with the big black dude with the flies coming out of his mouth and just the imagery. They don't even really make movies like that no more, by the way. The Green Mile was a great movie, man, but it was a tearjerker. Next up, I gotta go with Ghost.
Oh yeah.
See that? I said the same thing. Damn, Ghost. Whoopi Goldberg was sensational in that movie. Patrick Swayze. What's the female's name?
Demi Moore.
Demi Moore. Yeah, absolutely. Demi Moore, man. So that was a great movie. I don't even think they make movies like that anymore, to be honest. Big budget, emotional movies like that. You know what I'm saying? And all that kind of stuff. It's kind of like a love story mixed with a sci-fi type thriller type. It was kind of deep. Real good movie. The Shawshank Redemption. Yeah, man. With Andy Dufresne. Jesus Christ. They kept raping him. You remember that, man?
Yeah.
Man.
The Queens.
Yeah, they killed the Queens.
Yeah.
Man, they killed. I wanted to fight and kill one of them dudes, man. I mean, like, that movie made me so angry and emotional. The Shawshank Redemption, man. Just great movie, man. And I got to go throwback to, I got to go with Lady Sings the Blues.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That scene when Richard Pryor got beat up and beat to death. Man, that haunted me as a kid. You know what I'm saying? Because I remember watching Richard Pryor. Listening to him be funny for the most part, and then kind of seeing some of his movie because that movie came out a long time ago. And then looking at it as a kid, watching that scene was graphic at the time.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? When he got beat up and Diana Ross was just crying watching the whole thing. That was deep. That was sad. And my last movie I want to say, this is all the way throwback, The Elephant Man. The Elephant Man.
I remember that.
With my man, the Elephant Man. We couldn't really talk, and he was. My name is John Merrick. You know what I mean? I am not an animal. I'm a human being. All that. Listen, bro. Not only do that bring back nightmares as a kid, as an adult, you watch that, that'll make you real sad. You just really sit and watch that as a grown man right now. You know what I'm saying? That makes sense. So hey, look, hey, I'm sorry. Let me get something.
Listen, dog. Listen, Howie. Dog was shot
That
out.
was my
Bro.
top 5 movie.
He was shot out.
Go ahead, Jay. Give me yours. I gotta see this.
Listen,
give me your
dog. Listen, Elephant Man was the equivalent of a Detroit crack house.
That's not fair to Detroit crack houses.
He was shot out, dog. That dog was in terrible condition.
Yeah.
Okay, so number 5 for me. I don't think y'all seen it, man, because your kids are a little older. Well, I don't know, maybe Howie has. Inside Out. Have you guys seen Inside Out, the Pixar movie?
Yeah.
Where this little girl, man, like her emotions, they follow her emotions. They show the inside of her, as she's maturing, and they're all happy, everybody's getting along, but as she matured and kids started being meaner and then the world was a little different, you started seeing the changes in her based on how her emotions was doing. And and then when they started figuring it out, dude, you start tearing up, bro, because they understand the whole human condition.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like watching yourself grow up on film. You know what I'm saying? It's wild.
Mm-hmm. That's
number 4, Terms of Endearment, man.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's one of my top 5 favorite movies ever. Deborah Winger and Shirley MacLaine. Man, when she got cancer,
yeah,
and her sons were cutting up, and they were so close, man. Like you knew her daughter was all she had, and she had to watch her daughter die, bro. Hey, man, I'm getting choked up thinking about that. Number 3, this is a throwback for you, Howie. Sounder.
Yeah.
Sounder, that was Cicely Tyson, and Paul Winfield.
Yeah.
They played sharecroppers, doing the Great Depression.
Yeah,
and no matter how hard they worked, growing sugarcane, the white man kept cheating them. They couldn't eat.
Yeah.
So Nathan, the husband, went and stole a ham, just so he could feed his family. And the cops showed up, man. They beat him, shot their dog, and sent that man away, to the chain gang for years, because he stole a ham. And then even when the man came back, they only sent him home because he couldn't work no more, man, because he was paralyzed half his body. He couldn't work no more. And then he comes home, they happy to see him. He goes out with the dog, and then his son finds him dead, bro. Nobody wins in this movie. It's just sad all the way through.
Yeah.
Not my kind of movie I want to see ever.
Nobody wins in that movie.
But it's a really good movie, though. Number 2, Malcolm X, bro.
Yeah. Malcolm X did, yeah.
When Spike had Denzel on that dolly and Sam Cooke saying the change gonna come, and Malcolm's face is saying, like, I know it's coming. I'm about to leave this place, bro. And then, he gets in, and then, when they stand up and they pour the guns on him, you see his face, he's like, go ahead and do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we knew how it ended, but it still just rips it out. And number 1 for me, Color Purple. Bruh, nobody caught more hell than Celie. Nobody, right? Raped by her dad. She birthed 2 kids that got snatched immediately. Mr. sent her sister away from a dude, the only person that ever really loved her like that. And so her life was nothing but hardship. And then for it to end the way that it ended, with Mr. seeing the error of his ways, sending for her sister, sending for her kids, and it ended, with her meeting her kids for the first time, bro. If you don't cry, bro, you ain't got no heart. I'm sorry.
That's right.
Okay, I like all y'all's list. I like y'all's list. I like his list, and all these movies are tearjerkers. Now let me throw my tearjerkers up in here and tell me what y'all think about my tearjerkers. Because my tearjerkers, hey, they might not make everybody cry, but they had me they had me, they had me with my tissue. They had me with my tissue. Number 5 for me was Cinderella Man. With a Russell Crowe scene. I don't know if y'all saw Cinderella Man.
I never seen that.
Ron Howard,
Ron Howard movie. Russell Crowe is the director. Is the boxer in the Depression, when he literally is going in there and he's asking he takes his hat off and he's asking them all just for money to just be able to feed. Now, mind you, he was on top, and then they lost everything, and he goes through the Great Depression, and he's trying to stay a real live boxer. He's working on the docks, and he's trying to feed his family, and he's just trying to get literally 50 cents to feed his family. And he had to take off his head. That scene right there, if you don't cry, something wrong with you. Something wrong with you. I ain't gonna go back over again with the Green Mile, because the Green Mile, I think everybody cried in Green Mile.
Yeah, man.
Dry eye in the building, especially the end when they killed Michael Clark Duncan's character.
Yeah.
That was a travesty.
Coffee.
Yeah.
Like the drink but not spelled the same.
Yeah, exactly. And then number 3 for me, it's got to be The Notebook, because I never heard about it, never saw it, nothing until I sat there one time and watched it with my wife. I was like, okay, I see this tear coming out my eye. Okay, my wife's like, it's so sad. Yeah, tear coming out my eye. I'll give you that, honey. That's a tear. And so, and I was into my emotions. Number 2 for me was The Best Man Holiday, man. That scene, yeah, that was
it was a good movie.
That was travesty. But I didn't see that coming. No.
Nobody.
No, I ain't see that coming. I was like, how you gonna kill off one of the main characters? Like, I was mad about that. But number 1 for me was Philadelphia with Tom Hanks and Denzel.
Yeah.
Now that right there, bro. When you sit there and you see that scene when Tom Hanks is on the stand and he's dying, and he gives his obviously his testimony and everything else, and then they show the camera pan up and Tom Hanks looked real skinny, which they all won Oscars for, which was deservedly. Like that. Yeah, I saw it in the theater and I cried in the theater, and I think I was with my wife, and she was like, "Honey, you're crying." I was like, "Yeah, I am." Because I'm the dude who go to movies and fight back the tears. Like, no, that's not me crying. I'm that dude. That time I let it flow. I was like, I will let it flow.
I got it. Before you end this category, it's 2 honorable mentions. One of them with Denzel. You brought up Denzel. Another one with Tom Hanks. Them 2 dudes, period, point blank, have been a part of multiple movies that are tearjerkers. I gotta mention.
I know the 2 you're gonna say, Howie.
Okay, let me see. Okay, which Tom Hanks am I about to say?
Glory and Forrest Gump.
You know what? Not either one of them, but damn, that was that. Let me tell you, Glory was incredible. But that wasn't what I was gonna say, or Forrest Gump. I was gonna say Castaway.
Oh yeah,
when he lost Wilson, bro, and you felt like that damn soccer ball was a real person. And I'm gonna tell you that if you know anything about acting and directing and all that kind of stuff, if that movie didn't make you tear jerk when he came back home and his wife had another whole different life, man, that's an amazing movie. Okay, so and then my other one,
I was pissed at that part.
But oh my god, that's what I'm saying. Make you emotional. Everybody
was emotional.
Everybody was
thought I was dead, and you didn't wait for me. I was mad.
All of that, man. And then the other one I was gonna say with Denzel, it's a low key sleeper movie, and that's Mo Better Blues, bro. When Denzel, when they beat him up in the alley,
his mouth up.
Man, and Sam Jackson, they bust his mouth open with that trumpet, and he couldn't play no more. He came back to the bar and tried to play again, and the rain, he left. Oh, man, listen, bro. That's got to be one of the most emotional, well-written sequence of scenes, man. I'm telling you, bro, Spike Lee's a genius on that one. But Denzel Washington, Tom Hanks, top 2 tearjerker actors of all time.
And you just named some things that the reason why I don't see some of those movies repeatedly. Like I can't I ain't seen it again. I saw it one time. I'm good. Like
right. Bro. Hey, Howard, but low key, Forrest Gump will get you, bro.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Forrest Gump will get you.
Yeah.
When Jenny died.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It'll get you every single time. I just go back into this sports thing, and I'm interested in seeing what you're going to say about this, Howie, because being from Detroit and all.
Well, you know what you're going to say.
I know what you're going to say. That's why I want to be, because I got a couple players that Howie might be surprised about. Give me your top 5 players in any sport that could have been or could be mob bosses. This is going to be interesting.
Well, I got to start off with this, my man Ray Lewis, bro.
I know you already got a body.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, we talked about him on other shows, and I'm saying I had to think about when I was doing this list. Ray Lewis, bro, is a boss. And he got away with it too.
Yeah.
Right.
What all my bosses get away with murder. Ray Lewis definitely on my list. Ndamukong Suh. Ndamukong Suh, man. Hey, man, he a quiet assassin, big fella. I can see him calling the shots, you know what I'm saying? If you don't listen, you get stomped in the nuts or something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Diamond get sued, baby. I good
I
mob
can see
boss
him
right
breaking some heads. Somebody.
there. Yeah. Breaking
Oh
some
yeah, this
heads.
is
You
I'm gonna
know what
break
I'm
their
saying?
head off. Yep.
And I gotta have my boy. We always talk about him, Mike Tyson. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
He got the soft voice, but he could definitely be a mob boss. You know what I'm saying? He go, I don't like what you guys did last time. Make sure you clean it up. I can see him really being all right. Somebody be sleeping with the fishes. you think he's soft because of that voice? He be a real mob boss. I gotta say, Tom Brady, bro, and I'm gonna tell you why I say Tom Brady make a real good mob boss. He's a leader. He got one of them kind of personas. You know what I'm saying? He like the guy that could put the suit and the bow tie on and go to the dinner and talk to the mayor. And still, right after they just got through laying some bodies down. You know what I'm saying? I think Tom Brady is a master. I like his charisma. Like we're talking about him being a broadcaster, I think he's becoming a better broadcaster. I think was one of those kind of people that just wants to be better. I think that he's that kind of person that could definitely be a mob boss. And I guess the last one, I think that's this guy, and the reason why I just like his name and his charisma, Conor McGregor.
he walked
Yeah,
right here.
McGregor. Yeah. I think he could be a great. Where is he from? He's Irish, right?
Ireland. Yeah, Ireland.
Yeah. He could be a great Irish mob boss, man. Come on, listen to me. Get out here. Cut your head with an axe, Conor McGregor. I think he could be a great.
He could be a mob boss, and we wouldn't even know because he.
He could be. Right.
He did.
He may be right now, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But that's my list. I think that was 5 right there.
He started out as a plumber. He could be. We wouldn't even know. Go ahead, Jay. Give me your list.
Well, number 5 for me is obvious because he fit the number 1 requirement. He was a murderous psychopath. That's Aaron Hernandez. Absolutely.
Yeah.
He could have done it. Believe me. Right?
He probably was a mob boss. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Or a lieutenant.
Yeah.
Number 4, I'm gonna go Julio Cesar Chavez.
Uh-oh.
Only because he was tough. He has a huge following, and people gonna listen to what he say. You know what I'm saying? But hey, the most obvious thing, his middle name is Caesar. Come on, baby.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He was born to lead. Number 3, another psychopath, Bill Romanowski.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No question, he had the viciousness to just be a mob boss and do everything required to do what they got to do to run business. Number 2 for me, Vernon Maxwell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Vernon was all about that life, bro. He was getting in trouble, for going to nightclubs and just fighting dudes just on GP.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But he's charismatic. I think dudes will follow Vern. You know what I'm saying? But number 1 for me, Brian Scalabrine. Now hear me out. It's not because he's Italian. That's not it. It's just that anybody that stole that much money for that period of time has to be a heartless sociopath. Okay?
Right.
Brian Scalabrine, number 1.
Okay, Jason. Your list is suspect only for one reason, bro. Everybody you name could be assassins. Like, not necessarily mob bosses, but I can see them all as assassins, except for Brian Scalabrine. I agree with the Brian Scalabrine part, but you named a whole bunch of assassins. I don't know if you understood the assignment, Jason. The assignment was mob bosses.
They all killers.
No, I don't think you understand what the job of mob boss is.
That's possible.
That's the job.
That's possible. All right, let me give y'all my list because my list is interesting. I think my number 5 comes in is Ed Reed, linebacker for the Baltimore Ravens. That dude, I could see him literally doing destruction, causing destruction, and making sure that he leaves a destructive path everywhere he goes. So, needless to say, he's that. Reggie Jackson for the New York Yankees is my number 4 because Reggie Jackson didn't take no money, and he just caused ruckus everywhere, like inside the Yankee clubhouse. Like Reggie Jackson was the dude, and he fought, and he made sure it's my way or the highway, including against Billy Martin. That's just the way he was. Bill Laimbeer, Detroit Pistons. Tell me that dude.
I'm surprised how we didn't have him.
He almost made my list.
Like, how Bill Laimbeer now, and you can see him in the suit and tie sitting there right there talking about kill him. I can see him doing that. And then act like he didn't do it. He'd be sitting. He actually really sitting in trial right now. Like, wasn't me. Yeah, that's my number 3. My number 2, and the quiet is kept. I think he was in the mob. Is Pete Rose, Cincinnati Reds.
He probably would. He might have been.
Yeah.
I think
he was definitely running numbers.
Yeah,
he was running the numbers clearly. He had that whole thing on lock. He was, hey, what this running Pete got? You know what I mean? Running Pete got this. You know what I mean? I can see him doing that. But number 1 for me, it's gonna make y'all probably smirk, is Michael Jordan. Man, I can see Michael Jordan as a mob boss all day, every day, because he got to have his way. It's got to be his way to no way.
Big cigar smoking.
Smart guys, and he got a whole bunch of people who will follow him regardless, like Trump. You know what I mean? They walk. I could just see him being that. So that's my top 5. So Howie, it's now your turn for let's see what time we got. Okay, we got time. Top 5 centers NBA all time, and who is your top 5? Not top 5 statistically. We already know who the top 5 statistically centers are. But give me your top 5 or who you like NBA All Stars.
Oh man, my top 5. I don't know if I can put these in order. You know what I'm saying? But
they ain't gotta be. Just
but hey man, David Robinson, bro. I used to really the Admiral, bro. I don't know what it was coming up watching NBA. You know, it's young. When I first started really getting into it, he was one of the stars, and he was just a hell of a. That's back when they were still pure centers too. Right. You know what I'm saying? And man, he was incredible, bro. I gotta have him up there. Of course, Hakeem Olajuwon, bro. How can man? You know, this guy popped 2 rings during the Jordan era. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, you gotta, at Jordan did the peak Jordan era. So I mean, he was incredible. I remember watching him, man, and getting irritated. You know what I'm saying? Because he was so good. You know what I'm saying? And my team was on the decline. Of course, Shaquille O'Neal, root to the Qs. That's my dog. You know what I'm saying? Shaq. Probably number 1, arguably, but it's too tight to tell. But Shaquille O'Neal's a beast. I think he was the first one that really was breaking backboards like that. You know what I'm saying? Even from college, you know what I'm saying, to, NBA, he was known for that. And Animal, they even came up with a Shaq attack, hack a Shaq. You know what I'm saying? To make him go to the free throw line because he was so terrible at shooting free throws. But, right now, fun fact before I move on, he's still sore to this day on his forearms. He talks about that, how his arms, still have problems, man, for years and years of getting hacked, you know what I'm saying, over and over for so many seasons, man. That's pretty deep. Mm-hmm. And then I got to go with Moses Malone, baby. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? That once again, that was my early days of watching basketball. He was incredible. You know what I'm saying? And Moses Malone, man, I promise you, just his name sounded sweet back then. Moses Malone. Up. You know what I'm saying? He has a sweet ass basketball name. You know what I'm saying? So, and he was cold-blooded, finger rolling, doing everything, man. He was incredible. And it's hard, to pick my number 1, so that's what I say. I couldn't really have these in no real order, but I got to give it to this guy simply because he was a player and a coach, and nobody has done what he's done. That's Bill Russell. And I don't know.
11.
11. So I don't know. And how many as a player and a coach? 1 or he got 11 as the player and the coach.
No, I'm saying his last one was a player coach.
Yeah, he got 1. He got 1 as a player and a coach together. Yeah. Right. But I know it was 11 altogether, but I didn't know how many he had as a player and a coach at the same time. But I think that, and then dealing with racism and all that discrimination, man, and everything he just brought to the game, just everything about him. You know what I'm saying? And how hard it had to be that good at that time and be like a phenom almost. You know what I mean? Freaking nature type of guy. So much respect that they hated him. You know what I'm saying? I think that they try to give him his due later in the years. It's like, later in the 2000s. And I just don't, he's one of the best ever, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and arguably the best player of all time, but that's another discussion.
Jason, give me your top 5 centers, NBA. Now, it's not, as I said, it's not about who they were statistically. We're not ranking them statistically. It's who your favorite top 5 is.
Right. My favorite 5, number 5 for me is Wilt the Stilt. He changed the game, bro. I mean, they ain't never seen nothing like Wilt Chamberlain, when he came out. And honestly, if he was right now today, You still won't see nothing like Wilt Chamberlain, you know?
Mhm.
Number 4, I'm gonna go Nikola Jokic. That pudgy
Yeah,
can't move. That dude is skilled, bro. He got the feet, the hands, and he's a winner. Number 3, I'm gonna go to Diesel, the most dominant force ever to step on the basketball court,
for
man.
sure.
Like, there's no answer for that dude anywhere. Number 2, he's only number 2 because I like number 1 better. You know what I'm saying? Overall, number 2 for me is the real GOAT without the marketing. Nobody had a better basketball career than Kareem Abdul-Lou Alcindor-Jabbar. Nobody,
Yeah,
Mhm.
right? And number 1 for me, my favorite center ever, Hakeem the Dream Olajuwon, man. Love that dude. Everything
Yeah.
about it.
yeah.
That footwork is insane.
Man,
Crazy.
he was crazy with it.
And let me give you my 5, which is the thing is with me is it's no particular order because I love all 5 of these dudes. Like I sat there and said, now who could be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5? And I had a hard time. I was like, you know what? It just they all are my ones. They all my 2, 3, 4, and 5. So I'm just telling them to you in this order. 5 for me is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I was watching him play before he went to the Lakers, before the trade.
Right.
I was watching as far back as I can remember. I saw Kareem because my dad was a huge NBA fan. He loved watching on TV. And I remember watching these games on tape delay. That's how far back I go watching.
Wow.
Kareem was one of the dudes we watched all the time. So love watching him play. Bill Russell was another one. Bill Russell was, I didn't see him play live, obviously, because I was born when I was born. He was in his last couple of years. I never saw him play, but I watched almost a lot of games on black and white. Loved the way he played. Akeem Olajuwon is number 3 for me because his feet work has still not been replicated to this day. There has never been a person who can replicate. Some people are coming close. Tim Duncan come close, but ain't nobody seeing Akeem's footwork to this day. Number 2 for me, and I hated him as a player, but I loved him overall because this man, whenever he played the Celtics, he killed us, was Moses Malone. But I love him overall. Yeah. I really loved him when I met him. I met him a couple of times. Really good dude. Really, really good dude. But my number 1 for me is Shaq, man, because when Shaq came in and he was destroying backboards and he was so dominant. He changed the game, the way you watch the game.
I promise you.
And here's the thing that I loved about Shaq is that teams were sitting there trying to figure out how can we be number 2 because they knew they weren't going to be number 1 when Shaq was dominant. You know what I mean? When he started to decline, he was declining. But when he was literally at the end of Orlando and then prime Lakers Shaq, you wasn't going to beat them. You just wasn't going to beat them.
I had to come up with a whole set of rules of fouling for this guy. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
So you couldn't stop him. That was his only weakness.
What's wild though? What's wild though? A lot of centers had careers because of Shaq.
Right.
Because they had to have big bodies on the bench just to go out to fouling.
Yeah. Right.
They wouldn't have had jobs if they weren't big with 6 fouls to get. That's crazy.
Think about Yao Ming, as good as he was, but he was like Shaq's nemesis, kind of. He got more popular because he could guard Shaq and because he could score.
Yeah. I literally was going to say Yao Ming too, because I was going to say this. Yao Ming, he literally got the attention because of his height, but he literally got all the attention because they thought he was going to be the Shaq stopper. If you remember at the time. Yeah, they really thought that this guy's going to be the guy. He's going to be the Shaq stopper. He's taller than Shaq. Shaq, and he's strong. He could do that. And of course, he didn't do nothing to Shaq. You know what I mean?
Because nobody could.
Yeah, nobody could. Man.
But y'all was tough, bro. Don't sleep on y'all.
They had some battles, though.
Y'all was tough.
Yeah, they definitely did. I absolutely love that. All right, so we got these 2 other things. I'm gonna just go save. Actually, we got one. We got shooting guards. We're gonna handle that tomorrow. We're gonna figure it out tomorrow. So I want to thank you all for obviously watching this. We got the New York Knicks against the Celtics tonight. Howie, give me your prediction before you roll up out of here, and Jason, give me your prediction.
I think the Celtics are gonna win.
Okay.
And I think they're gonna do it, man. I think it's gonna be a good game. I think the Celtics get it. I'm no more last second rogues from the Knicks. I think it's over.
Okay, what you think, Jason?
I predict that Boston's not gonna play really well, but the Knicks will find a way to lose.
Okay. That's a prediction. That's a prediction. That's a prediction. I appreciate that. I appreciate you guys obviously doing the show for me and everything else. Jason, tell everybody out there. I mean, Howie, tell everybody out there how they can follow you, bro.
Well, as usual, Howie Bizzell, HOWIE BIZZELL, Howie Bell, everywhere else. Holla at me.
Thank you very much. Jason Hayes, filmmaker, tell everybody out there how they can follow you, bro.
Follow me right here at JD Hayes at Fan Base.
There it is. All right, y'all, we're getting ready to roll up out of here. Tomorrow, we're going to be back at 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to put this all down. Thank you all for watching. The show's called Box Seats. We're on the Humor Mill channel. Check us out. That's Jason. That's Howie. We'll be back tomorrow. We're going to keep this discussion on with NBA playoffs. We got a lot more top 5 content. We're going to just throw it at you, man. Make sure y'all tell a friend, and subscribe. Thank you all for watching.